Long ball number 2 here on Friday, February 28th. Unfortunately, not another good news. Christian Pulisic playing time alert. Should fans be concerned about João Felix taking his 10 spot? Yesterday, he didn't play. Felix got that. Felix got the start. Pulisic first sub off the bench, coming in the 60th minute, but the result not good. Milan lose again. They are like 7th or 8th now. The Champions League hopes are getting thinner and thinner. Where's your alarm rating for Christian Pulisic's situation at Milan? I know we weren't worried at first, but there seems to be a theme, a trend with the team selection at Milan.
Yeah, the last month has not been very good for Christian Pulisic. And it's funny because he came back from injury, right?
Yeah.
And played in that Supercopa that they did down in Saudi Arabia.
He looked good.
And yeah, Conceicao had just arrived. He scored, I believe, to help them beat, was it Inter that they beat in the final?
Yep.
It was a Milan derby outside of Milan, which was weird. And it looked like that was just going to be like him getting back to the success he had previously had before the small injury issue, and we weren't going to have to worry. We could all calm down, and Christian Pulisic is going to be fine. And then João Felix comes in, and Conceicao turns to Felix to fill that central creator role that Pulisic had occasionally played, had played on a fairly regular basis. I mean, there was some movement around that front four. Chukwueze was getting some time and things like that. So I think this is an issue of a new manager, being enamored with a new player. And João Felix has a magic about him. He has an ability to deceive. He is a deceiver, João Felix.
Yeah, we're talking about Mount Rushmore of overrated players.
He looks like a player who should be doing things, and then he doesn't deliver. But he is very easy to fall in love with, I think, for managers. It's why he keeps getting big moves. It's why he's been at Barcelona. He's been at Chelsea. He's been at Milan. Obviously, since it didn't really work at Atleti when they paid 100 million euros for him. And I at the risk of sounding like an aggrieved American soccer fan who's pissed off on behalf of my American soccer hero, certainly Christian Pulisic, a major part of the U.S. men's national team, our best attacking player. It does seem ridiculous that it continues to be João Felix without any end product when Pulisic was extremely effective and delivered during his time at Milan prior to Conceicao arriving. I'm hoping that something turns here. Maybe there is a sense of Pulisic needs a little bit of a break, and João Felix coming in helps them rest Pulisic. But losing to Bologna, which is really not, Bologna's a decent side, so he had a great year last year, and have had to adjust without Thiago Motta this season. But losing to Bologna just means it makes it that much more difficult to climb the table and get back into a Champions League spot, which is, by the estimation of Milan fans, is their divine right. At the very least, they should be a Champions League club, even if they're not challenging for Scudetto, and they are well off that pace. And as we've talked about before, and I don't think I'm being alarmist when I say this, when we get to a moment like this at a club with an American who's playing a significant role, what tends to happen is, it's the American's fault. Now, he's not on the field to be a problem as much. Obviously, played half an hour against Bologna, but didn't play the first hour. You can't really blame Pulisic if he's not getting the starts. But if he's become the scapegoat already, and there was that rumor of a bit of a contretemps between him.
Yeah, he had to make a statement like, I didn't have a bust up with the coach, right?
Yeah, that's never good. Like, you never want that to be entering the chat, that issue. So I'm my alarm level on a scale of 1 to 5 is about a 3.5. I'm not there to be like, oh my God, he's got to get out of there. But I am watching closely. Like, the storm is developing, right? It's not exactly a storm yet. It's not exactly, gale force winds or anything. We're not battening down any hatches. But all of the atmospheric conditions are ripe for the storm to start.
That ozone layer smell is in the air. The quote unquote calm before the storm. The loss to Bologna leaves Milan in eighth place, 8 points out of the Champions League spots, and hopes of the Champions League berth becoming a bit stark. Something to keep note on for just general soccer fans. Serie A title race is going to be one to watch here in the last
Yeah.
couple months of the season.
Well, if you-
Three teams within 3 points of each other. Inter on 57, Napoli on 56, and Atalanta on 54. So that'll be a fun watch.
Yeah, the Serie A title race is worth watching, whereas the Bundesliga is over, the Premier League looks to be over, the French league is over. Spain is also incredibly interesting right now, but yes, Italy is one of those leagues that if you are like, oh, the Premier League, Liverpool is going to win this thing, then go keep an eye on what's happening with those three teams you just talked about.
What a difference a week makes. I was pretty nervous about Liverpool after the Aston Villa draw, and then with everything that's happened, I'm feeling a lot more comfortable.
Oh,
And
now you're feeling good. After we declared it over, I did, and you were like,
You did.
whatever. And then
Well,
no. Go ahead.
all right. Well, it's usually the chasing pack, the Manchester City, I guess. Any sort of break in the armor, any sort of draw felt like a disaster in years past for like the last 7 years. So any sort of drop points got me pretty nervous when you consider history. But the chasing pack not as strong this year. Moving on to